Why did your back hurt still while training? Let's understand why. All right, first, we must understand how to use the core. When people say bracing the core, what does that mean? If someone says tight core, tight core, tight core, what does that actually mean and what is going on? This core will go from the rib cage right down into the pelvis and round, all the way round into the spine around here as well. So it's a 360 bout of protection. There's different functions of the core, but there's a thing called the transverse abdominis. What this does, it creates this huge sheath of bout here, which can stabilize this. The whole purpose of it is to stabilize the pelvis and the spine and to reduce any unwanted movements when moving. So a lot of people do crunches, okay, and leg raises, etc. But we also need to train the static hold. What that is enabling you to do is to create this intra-abdominal pressure, which all contracts and creates this force, which is immovable. So when you are lifting big weights or you're running or any sort of sport, this core is strong, which then will protect your spine. And that is the key, because when doing that, what you're going to do is build up this strong core, which allows you to stabilize the spine and stop yourself getting lower back pain. The biggest thing lower back pain can come from is because you have a weak core. And if the core is weak, that's when you can get lower back issues and injure your spine, because we have to allow the core to do its job properly and stabilize everything. We have to stabilize the pelvis and keep that spine still. When we get any unwanted movement when loading that spine, that's when we get injury. The core needs to do its job properly. When we think lower back pain, we think get the lower back stronger. No, we also have to get the core stronger. Why? Because the core will stabilize the pelvis and the spine. When the transverse abdominis contracts and all these muscles work together, nothing is going to move. But we also have to use that very thing that is all around us, and it's air.
Breathe air.
We have to breathe in the air to create intra-abdominal pressure. If you filled up a tire with air and then you close the seal, now that tire is solid and it will bounce off the floor and maintain its structure. But also, if we loosen off the cap and let the air come out, that structure will slowly change. That's just like when you take a big breath into your lungs and then you brace. When bracing the core, is creating this pressure because you have air inside your lungs and everything compact and it's solid. So when you do big compound movements or you're running and landing on one foot, X, Y, and Z, if that core is solid and you have intra-abdominal pressure, this is not going to move and which will protect the spine. So we have to learn how to use the core in lifting. The very basic thing we need to do though is learn how to use it in actual core movements, because people all day will do stuff like this, okay, like this and this, but not actually understanding what is going on. We have to let the core do the work. So first we have to learn how to contract it. So if you really want to fix that lower back issue, you want your lower back to stop niggling and stop aching, and every time you train, you feel your lower back blowing up, okay? We start to train the core, and then when you learn how to contract the core naturally, so when you train in the gym, or when you load the spine outside of the gym, what you can learn to do is take a breath in, brace properly, and then lift. What this will do is create intra-abdominal pressure. It's like creating that tire effect. We're filling the lungs with air. We're bracing everything and squishing everything in. So now you've got to think of this spine has all of this cushion around it, which isn't moving, which allows it to stay still, and then it can absorb all the force coming through. And then the whole body works as one. You connect the chain from the lower body to the upper body with the core. Remember, there's no bone around here but spine. So if we don't use the core, our spine takes the load. And that's the last thing we want to damage. So when we take deep breaths in and we learn how to brace that stomach, okay, we're protecting the mechanism. So first we must learn how to use it, and then we learn how to apply it. And you don't just apply it into lifting weights, you apply it to outside life. Every time you pick things up, your core will brace. The more you do this, it will become second nature and your core will naturally brace and protect you. This is one of the fundamental things you need to be doing, is learning how to use the core. Even your posture is incorrect when lifting things. If that core is braced, you can get away with it to a certain extent, unless the load is too aggressive and it's too intense for you. Boom, there is a straw that can break the camel's back.